Top 10 Beauty and Health Uses and Benefits of Tea Tree Oil. Tea tree oil is one of the most useful products in nature. It has been used by some Aboriginal people in Australia for many centuries as one of their most useful medicines. Some people think that it is called the tea tree because Captain Cook, who sailed from England in the 17th century, used the leaves to make a tea from when they first voyaged to Australia, hence the name tea tree. Captain Cook found that it was good at combating scurvy, a disease that many of his crew suffered from at that time due to a lack of fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. Australia has more than 300 different kinds of tea tree, but only one of them is used to make the oil which is now world famous. Tea tree oil first came to prominence during the First World War in the early 20th century. Australian soldiers were seen to be using the oil to treat their infections. They had a great deal of success with this. During World War II, tea tree oil growers were exempt from national service in Australia as their contribution to the war was to produce tea tree oil for use by its troops. Tea tree oil has various uses in first aid treatments because of its triple antibiotic features. It's an antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal agent. The oil's first aid uses are fairly straightforward because we all know what to expect from a first aid treatment. We know we can use the substance to sanitize, heal cuts and wounds, and ease pain. All external uses as tea tree oil should not be taken internally. It is extracted as an essential oil by steam or water distillation from the leaves and twigs of the tea tree. The oil is a water-white liquid or pale yellow-green. It has a fresh, spicy and slightly camphoraceous smell. Tea tree oil and treatment of boils. A boil is an inflamed area, usually based in a hair follicle, and can be caused by a physical condition such as diabetes, acne, or severe dermatitis, and can also result from low immunity, irritations, an illness, stress, food allergy, poor diet, shaving, plucking hairs or poor hygiene. A boil usually starts as a tender area, becoming hard and swelling, and eventually softening and forming a head. The head is filled with bacteria and the white blood cells fighting the infection, pus. Staphylococcus is the bacteria that is usually found in the pus of a boil. The bacteria involved are those usually present on healthy skin, so the boil is an indication of low resistance to infection. It is advised not to lance the boil, because bacteria can spread to nearby skin and create new boils. Apply hot packs for up to 20 minutes at a time, throughout the day, as the heat draws more white blood cells, thereby helping to fight the infection. Do not cover with a Band-Aid. Wash with tea tree oil soap and apply antiseptic cream containing tea tree oil. A drop or two of tea tree oil may also be applied directly to the boil. Dab it on with a piece of clean cotton, do not rub or otherwise irritate the boil. Procedure to be followed periodically throughout the day. Dab some tea tree oil onto the boil with a piece of cotton to help bring it to a head, then cover with a piece of gauze. Cover the gauze with a damp washcloth, followed by a dry towel, and then apply a heating pad. Leave on a low temperature for about 15 minutes. Change your dressing and reapply the tea tree oil. The oil helps bring the boil to a head while the warm compress helps pull the infection out of the skin. The tea tree oil then acts as an antiseptic and antibiotic on the bacteria in the pus. Be sure to throw away the gauze each time, and wash your hands with tea tree oil soap each time you handle the gauze or touch the boil. Sometimes a bacteria can spread to a lymph node that is nearby. If there is a boil on the neck, check the lymph glands for swelling and tenderness. You should visit a doctor if this occurs, also if there is fever or lethargy. It's important to learn to listen to your body and recognize when tea tree oil treatment will be enough, and when you need the help of a doctor. Tea tree oil sunburn recipes. It's easy to relish the warmth and the golden tan from spending time in the sun, but it's tempting to overdo it and get burnt. Here are some suggestions for soothing herbal sunburn relief. Tea tree oil diluted to 1 part with 10 parts of olive oil or coconut oil and spread freely over the affected areas is soothing and pain relieving, and also reduces blistering and peeling. You can also apply tea tree oil full strength to sunburn. Personally, I find it even more soothing to combine tea tree oil with another cooling herbal. My personal favorite is aloe. I grow aloe plants and I pick and split a leaf, squeeze out the gelatinous substance, add a few drops of tea tree oil, and pat gently on the burned area. Then blowing on it or sitting in front of a fan increases the cooling sensation. Tea tree is especially effective when paired with lavender oil. Add 5 drops of tea tree and 11 drops of lavender oil to 3 ounces of cool, distilled water. Place this mixture in a bottle with a spray atomizer attachment and mist sunburned areas whenever cooling relief is needed. Molly of Molly's Herbals sells a tea tree, lavender oil mixture that makes this remedy really easy. Add a few drops of tea tree oil to vitamin E or aloe vera lotion. Apply a few times a day to relieve pain, redness and inflammation. People with sensitive skin should use tea tree oil in diluted form. It can be mixed with another oil such as almond or wheat germ. And then gently rub oil mixture into affected areas to help relieve stinging and later itching. Against cold in most cases, when I feel a cold coming on or sense the onset of a cold sore, things I rarely experience anymore, I simply apply tea tree oil to my temples, throat and chest or wherever I feel the aches or the cold sore coming on, ingest a cough drop containing minute amounts of tea tree oil, and eliminate sugar from my diet. I also buy a bag of oranges and eat them freely, drink plenty of water, and get a few extra hours of sleep at night or by napping during the day. Also, a steamy hot bath with a few drops of tea tree oil in it works wonders. These things usually return me to good health. These days I usually feel dis-ease approaching during the winter months, because of bad eating habits during the holiday season, and because of occasionally using junk food to ease cabin fever symptoms, depression, uneasiness, lethargy. I may know better, but I'm not a saint. I've learned to forgive myself, then get back on the program with renewed vigor. Tick remover: mix 2 to 3 drops of tea tree oil with 1 to 2 drops of a carrier oil such as almond oil and apply directly on the tick. Never use tea tree oil directly at high concentrations on your pets. Beard hair: tea tree oil works as a moisturizer for controlling the oil in your hair and scalp. It hinders the development of strands and abstains from stopping up your hair follicles. The tea tree oil will purify your beard from pollution and make the beard hair soft and delicate. A chronic condition is more complex. It's common to hear someone with a chronic disease, such as acne, asthma or a yeast infection for example, say that such and such a remedy worked at first, or was effective for a while, and then the problem came back. Or maybe the symptoms were lessened but never completely disappeared. That's because many of the organisms responsible for these conditions occur naturally in our environments, or in our own bodies, and are kept in balance until something causes the balance to shift and the organisms to experience overgrowth. That's when we experience a severe acne outbreak, an asthma attack, or the symptoms of yeast infection. In order to effectively treat the chronic condition, we have to recreate the state of balance, or in other words, we have to treat the root of the imbalance. I believe that in many cases this can be accomplished through the use of tea tree oil along with dietary changes.